Hello, 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 world travelers, or whatever we end up calling you. But for now, the placeholder is world travelers. This is Judge Mentalist, and this is Big Sexy Digital Nomad. We've got a lot going on. Big Sexy, from the time of this recording, is getting on a boat tomorrow. He will be sailing the deep blue seas by the time you hear this. And I had some shit happen too. Let's get into it, Big Sexy.
What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever this is hitting your ear holes. Thank you all for coming in and listening. This is going to be, like Judge Mendola said, a full episode because there has been a lot since the last time we recorded.
First of all, in real time, you were on a boat, brother. From the real time of anybody listening to this, other than
anybody
you,
listening to this, I am currently on a Virgin Voyages cruise. I'm somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, laid out, catching sun, having fun, doing the things. So becoming cruise ship famous. I probably sang karaoke a couple of nights, so I'm getting well known. Having a blast, meeting new people, setting things up, playing mahjong, doing some soul line dancing, learning new things, eating delicious foods. When you're listening to this, you should be envying me because I am living the life.
And when you listen to this, I will be in Las Vegas, kind of like a switchy changey placey thing, except I'm not on a boat right now for him to switch with me, but you know what I'm saying. And yeah, also living the good life there. So
Yeah.
you've had some journeys getting you to
Well,
where you are right now, huh?
yeah. So, we left sunny California, April 13th. I think we left on the 13th. We might have left on the 4th. So okay, so let's get in it. So, we got delayed by a day simply because of a 3-hour time shift with our service dog Fox. He had an appointment at a vet. Supposed to be for 8 o'clock in the morning on the 12th, and they moved it back to 11:20. 3 hours and 20-minute difference killed almost the entire day.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Because the vet was about an hour away from where we were staying. There was a recommended vet by a good dear friend of ours. We went out, took the time, came back. So we lost that day. So we lost that day of packing, lost a day of organizing, lost a day of getting mom's place together. Then, the next day, my wife had to go to FedEx to take the paperwork to get that sent off to the USDA so she can make sure Fox is good to travel. Well, what should have taken 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops at FedEx took 2.5 hours. So that killed another day. So we are now a full day behind. So we decided to leave one day later than we're set to leave, which puts us in Vegas. And I'm trying to pull up my calendar because it was we're supposed to leave on the 13th. We ended up leaving on the 14th, on that Friday. So we get into Vegas. By the time we leave and everything's good to go, we're in Vegas in the early afternoon. We get to my friend Rebecca's house. I have enough time to get all the bags out of the car because I'm now driving to sell my car. I stop off at my doctor's appointment to get that taken care of. All this in the time frame of everybody's getting ready to close because it's about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. Doctor's office takes a bit longer than expected. Obviously, I drive to the dealership. I get to the dealership. They offer me $500 less than what they had quoted me for the Kia. But at this point in time, whatever.
You're out of time.
I'm taking whatever. And so sell the Kia and then go back to that takes all night because In the rush and the hubbub, I forgot the title. I left the title in my backpack, which was at the house when we unloaded the car, and I didn't, so it was a thing. So I didn't get the car sold and out. I wasn't there. I left there right around 8 o'clock. So get back to my friend, and I'm now saying I'm not doing shit. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going out. I'm not doing karaoke. I'm not hanging out. Nothing. I'm out. I'm coming back. Get back to the place where we're staying. Thank you very much to Rebecca and Mike for giving us their house. It was very lovely place to crash out because I got to get up early in the morning to get an Uber to go get the rental car because I'm driving from Vegas to Denver. So if anybody has driven from Vegas to Denver or Denver to Vegas, they know that it is a very long drive.
And don't look at it on a map and say, oh, it's that close.
It's a
And
straight shot.
usually when I drive that distance, it takes this amount of time because not only is it not a straight shot from my understanding, but there's mountains
There's mountains, there's
and you're not
hills,
driving as fast. You're going
and
all
there's
over the place.
there's gas stops and food breaks and pee breaks and potty breaks. And we have the dog with us, so that means we got to walk the dog as well. And we don't leave. We wanted to leave Vegas around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to be on the road because we know it's gonna be a 14-hour drive. So that we would get to Denver, say around 10, 11 p.m., midnight maybe. We don't leave Vegas until 1:30 p.m., which means we don't hit Denver until about 4 in the morning. So I drove almost the entire time. We get to Denver. Now, when we get to Denver, the Airbnb that we're staying in, shout out to John and this Mediterranean villa in the heart of Denver. It was absolutely gorgeous. Probably the best Airbnb I have ever stayed in whatsoever. It was filled with all this art that he got from his parents and in laws. They had lived in Africa for quite some time, and so they had all this artwork and things in storage. So he said, "Well, I have this house that has too much space. How about you fill it?" And so, there's so much beautiful art on display. The room we were in had its own dry sauna. And if anybody knows my wife loves a good sauna. And so I took advantage of that. I got to see some friends. Shout out to Stephanie. Shout out to Valeria. And shout out to Dallas and Michael. Shout out to Shane, Stephanie's new boyfriend. The people we all got to hang out with and meet up and say hello to. Shout out to no, never mind, that's North Carolina. I'll get to that in a second.
Explain this to me, Big Sexy, because I am looking at the review that you left for the Airbnb. There's only 3 stars and a comment about the seats not being comfortable. What's that about?
Well, I took a poo and I got a splinter. So, I mean, you got to keep it real.
There you go.
The place, it was absolutely fabulous. Shout out to my wife who found it and booked it and stayed there. So that part was lovely.
Hey, we should share that link on the socials. So if people are going to Denver and they want a really great Airbnb,
we'll absolutely do that. We'll absolutely do that.
You can do. There really isn't a 3-star review. If you know what that reference is, then you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, uncomfortable sheets, 1 star. So now that's Denver. We're in Denver.
You know what? I was scrolling through. This is totally off topic here. I was scrolling through old screenshots and memes as you do sometimes, because I don't know if you get caught into this little trap or whatever, but somebody brings something up and there's like, oh, I have a picture from that time I don't even remember what the base conversation was that led me back to you. Then you start looking at the photos in your role that are near it and, a little before, a little after. There's a screenshot that I took of a review on a magic site, and it doesn't matter what the review was for, but it was a 4-star review. And the description was, this is a really great such and such, blah, 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 blah. And then in text in the review was written 10/10.
They wrote 10 out of 10.
They wrote 10 out of 10, yet clicked the box for 4 stars. This is what's wrong with the
Wow.
world.
That's wow. And it wasn't 4 out of 4. It was 4 out of 5.
No, it was 4 out of 5, but they left it in the
10 out of
text
10.
a 10 out of 10. And it's funny because if you were to go through my law firm's Google page or whatever, the Google My Business, you will see a handful of reviews in there that have various stars. There's only a couple that have various levels of stars that are not 5. And when you read the description, you're like, how the fuck is this not a 5-star review? My
That's
friends,
because I fully believe that that's because some people feel it in their bones that they are unable to give anything a perfect rating, which makes the other one, the 10 out of 10, weird.
that doesn't make it right. That's
Doesn't
the
make any
real
sense.
disconnect.
Right. Yeah. But
I've
I know
got
some people who love things, they go, I can't give it 5. I do 4 stars. They do 4 down the line. Like this is their nature. They hit 4 stars
Don't be that guy.
and call
Don't
it
be that
good.
guy.
Yeah. So we get to we're in Denver and we're getting ready now. Wife is also working, and her the day we're supposed to leave, wife has a bunch of clients because we've shifted so much and we lost a full day. We have so much other stuff. Like things are so truncated. We miss our flight. We miss our flight out of Denver to North Carolina. Due to the timing just didn't work out. By the time we got the Uber there, and then the flight was at 4:30, so we're talking about midday traffic. What said it was going to take 36 minutes to get to the airport. As soon as the Uber got there, was now up to 55. So by the time we were trying to thread a needle that was too small to thread, we're trying to do a little tiny needle while using yarn, and it just didn't work. The good news is about that is shout out to American Airlines. We were able to they just put us on the next flight. Next flight was a red eye, which means we got into North Carolina.
Means nobody wanted that shit, which is why they had seats
5
for you.
a.m. At 5 a.m. It was damn near a full flight. I mean, but we're able to get us on there and it worked out. It sucked. I had the middle seat, which I hate the middle seat. But you know what? I was on a plane. I was headed to North Carolina. And I was telling myself, it doesn't matter what is happening, what is going on.
Yeah, the wheels are in motion.
End result is I'm going to be on a boat on my way to Spain. So we get to North Carolina. Big shout out to David and Virginia, 2 of my dearest friends who gave us a place to stay, let us stay in their lovely house, made us feel at home. So much at home that I had to remind myself not to walk around naked because I almost did. I went out of the bedroom. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not home. But it felt so home-like. It really took care of us. That night we hung out. We got repacked. We taught them how to play mahjong. My friend Sharon, who also lives in North Carolina, maybe about 15 minutes away from where, actually about 10 minutes away from where David and Virginia live, which means we were able to introduce friends to each other, which we did in Denver.
You're sailing to Madrid, correct?
No, Barcelona. Yeah.
Okay.
And our friend Dallas and Stephanie.
Is that in the south?
I don't know, man. It's in Spain. Stop asking me geographical questions.
This is a travel podcast, bro.
I don't. Yeah, but whatever. Google's a thing. I'm gonna be on a boat. That's what I know about. We'll be in Spain. And friends of mine got together, and so now they're friends. I love that kind of stuff. So we hung up, play mahjong. The next day, we're able to get a rental car. Got a rental car early, and then we made the drive from North Carolina. Stopped in South Carolina. Saw my friend Bethany. Shout out to Bethany in South Carolina. Thank you very much for lunch. It was really delicious barbecue. It was really great. Hung out with her a couple hours and then made the drive into Florida. So we are now in Cape Coral, Florida, staying with our friends Mariki, and Sharky. Shout out to them and their lovely home. I'm in the home now. It's an amazing place. It's really gorgeous. And yeah, it was just cool around this spot because this spot got hit by the hurricane and had a lot of devastation, but they were able to rebuild and organize. Luckily, the house didn't flood. They were safe from that. There were just some minor damage, and every house in the area has tarps on the roof because shingles flew off. But we hit that area, and then so today, they are taking us down to Boca Raton, Florida, where we'll be staying with our friend Billy and Larissa of cruisehabit.com
That's
for
right.
the night. And then in the morning or in the morning afternoon, they're going to take us into Miami, where we will drop our
Get on
luggage
that boat.
off, go get some food, and then go get on a boat.
Woo
And so
woo.
it's been an ordeal to say the least. But I am reminded that no matter what, we are going someplace amazing, and I'm going on this adventure. And I posted that every obstacle that we overcome is going to make those first steps on the cruise that much sweeter.
Oh,
The,
for
mo-
sure.
the
For
moment we're
sure.
on a boat, like all of
The
that
moment
that we
that you
had to
can
do
just
to get here.
release and relax after all the bullshit is it. We had a
Yeah.
moment like that this week. Has nothing to do with travel. It was actually me sitting still, probably for one of the longest periods of time that I generally tend to sit still because I had to do my paying gig.
Yes, you had a trial this past couple of days, right?
Yeah, so up and until yesterday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week, we had a trial for one of our auto accident cases. And when I say we, I mean myself and one of the other attorneys in my office. And there was a case back in September that he tried and that I was not available to be there for the whole time. So it's important to not confuse jurors, important to the court. So if you're not there from the beginning and you're not going to be there throughout, you don't go to counsel table. So there were opportunities throughout the course of that trial when I was available where I popped in and just sat in the courtroom. He was trying the case, and there were certain moments in which I picked up some body language tells basically off of members of the jury. And I was able to basically tell my colleague, hey, this one feels this way and that one feels that way. And when you talk about this stuff, this one seems to really, get it. And it
That's the
really
best. That's the awesome. That's the benefit of having a mentalist
that is what's great about having a mind reader in the courtroom with
in a
you.
courtroom behind you.
And yeah, it definitely changed the way that closing arguments were structured, and we'd like to think that it had a pretty significant impact on that verdict. So this time, we decided that we were going to do a little Penn and Teller in the courtroom.
The
Okay,
tag team, and you were going to shut the hell up. I think you're the teller because you were not
I,
speaking.
I was gonna be he was gonna be the guy that did the talking. I was gonna be the one that didn't do the talking but did most of the tricky work.
Right.
And we had a 3-day trial, and this was an accident claim where we're trying to get money damages for injuries. And the most money prior to the trial that the insurance company was willing to offer our client was about $48,000. And we pushed the issue. And this is the best part. The best part about it isn't even just the verdict. We got a $270,000 verdict, so
Look at you go.
more than five times what the insurance company was offering. It was fantastic. I'm actually going to work the story that we're talking about now into a stage routine,
Awesome.
and the time lapse on the future tense that I just described to you we're recording this around noon Eastern, and the show starts at 7 tonight. So,
Oh wow! Oh Jesus!
so I'm going to turn that around and turn it into a stage routine, certain elements of it, and reading people. But I had identified 2 members of that jury as our heroes and people who really were getting emotional about certain elements. And this was a claim that involved the father and a son who were in an auto accident where the vehicle would have rolled over had they not been pushed into an embankment that pushed them back down.
Oh wow!
I had identified 2 ladies on this jury as what I call our heroes, the ones that are going to bring it home for us, the ones who really kind of focus on their emotions.
Did you mentally imagine them with a cape?
No, that doesn't help. But I will tell you the most validating part of all of this isn't the dollar amount of the verdict. It was the fact that immediately after they're done, once the verdict is done and they've all of them confirmed that that was unanimous and everything like that, they are released. We can speak to them, whatever. The first thing these 2 women that I identified as our heroes, the ones that would bring it home, did, they stepped out of the jury box. They went up to the son of our client who was 15 at the time of this accident. He's 21 now. It took 6 years to get this thing to trial. And the first thing that they did was go up to him and caress the side of his face. My colleague turns to me and he goes, "Motherfucker." That was the validator of everything that we thought that we were doing with this whole 2-man, one speaks, one doesn't. And he just sits there and reads and takes notes and just, it's fantastic. It really, really works. And because just stepping that half a step back allows me to sit back and observe absolutely everything that's happening in the room, to scrutinize every piece of evidence, everything that everybody's saying is testimony, to really make you're not sitting there making notes in open trial when you're examining a witness of what they say, but to have the colleague sitting at the desk back there and making notes of exactly the way that somebody says a certain thing, whether it be the way that opposing counsel asks a question or phrases an argument or what have you. And so to have that almost objective, I'm not really as deep in this, although I'm certainly in this, to be able to pick up on key points, certainly helped to shape some of the language and the argument, and the way that you say things and the structure of the words is super important. So
we call you guys the Penn and Teller of the Elkton law scene.
We're going to pull the Penn and Teller move again in another trial, because we've got a bunch of potentially big cases, some bigger than these last 2, and we're going to see if we can't continue to put this to work and continue to shoot for the moon for our clients, because it's super fun stuff. And then maybe I'm going to be able to work this into a stage routine, which should also be fun.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That's going to be awesome. That's Congratulations on the victory, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much. And really, it's such a relief for my clients that, as I said, they waited almost 6 years. Mid-May will be the 6-year anniversary of this accident. So we were 1 month shy of 6 years. Wow. So that was good, because you never feel like you're ahead, even when you know that you kind of feel like you're ahead, because you're just bogged down 8 hours a day, just stuck. Like you can't respond to anything other than what's going on in the room. Good deal. Yeah.
Congratulations, sir. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's funny because with those types of body language reading routines, without giving too much away, I will say that there are other ways that people who do what I do get the information that we get, to be able to put on the presentation of body reading. And the more and more I do routines like this, because some people who've seen some of my stuff may have seen me do this poker tell routine. And I've done that routine a ton of times. And the one thing that I just started to notice is that the tells are real.
Well, tells are real.
I might not necessarily need the tells to finish the routine for reasons that I won't disclose, but the fact that I will say things on stage, point out tells, and have them, it literally just becomes true in front of everybody's eyes. It really makes sense to me why some people who do this over a period of time start to believe their own bullshit.
Right.
And because there are certainly in routines like this, like it just, you get sucked into it, and it's kind of crazy shit. So I'm looking forward to doing that tonight. It should be fun. Who knows? Maybe it goes completely sideways. Did we talk about my other show
We haven't.
last
I
week?
don't know what we talked
Oh,
about. Man, look, I've been on the road for
yeah.
damn near 2 weeks, so my brain is mush when it comes
We,
to
we,
what
we,
what we talked about, what is said, what we haven't talked about. Part of me feel like I talked about the whole thing in California already, but I don't remember if I did, and it's all good. So if I
welcome,
didn't, well,
welcome,
there you go.
wel- welcome to podcasting, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right.
This is episode 31. Episode 32 is going to be an interview that Big Sexy did. That'll come out next
Oh,
week from
you guys are gonna enjoy. That's a good one. I
your hearing
listened back
time.
to it as I was downloading again. It's a
I haven't heard it yet.
I love my friends. I just love the people that I have in my life. You know what? If you're listening to this and you know me, know that I love you. Know that I am appreciative of your friendship and everything. It fuels me. It drives me. It makes me happy to be in the world. Um, Whenever I'm down, I actually can reach out to my friends and folks. That's the other thing this trip across the country has given me is I have people everywhere, and I get to spend
Hey,
time with the folks that I love. Some people weren't able to make it to certain events, like in Denver. A couple of friends couldn't make it. One had an emergency in the family. Another one lived kind of far. Was unsure what was going on. But you know what? I still felt the love, still felt that, and still made time with the folks we were able to get together with. Made Turned other friends into friends, so I've created friendships as well. I love doing that. So if you know me and you're listening to this, know that I love you and I appreciate you very much. And I thank you guys for your support along this journey. You all have been so more helpful, not just to fun things, but my psyche and my emotions and all that kind of stuff in helping us make this travel.
and there's only going to be more.
Right, exactly.
So yeah. So that's fun stuff, and lots of
Now,
adventure to come. I mean, this is
now,
honestly, you're 31 and 32 episodes into this thing, and by 80 we're going to get it. We've promised you that. But this is really where the fun's about to get started. I mean, the journey begins. You get one more episode that's been pre-recorded. There's a bank episode that we still have floating around that I haven't found yet, but that'll eventually get dropped, and you'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" Because we recorded it before we dropped anything else in the world. And you know, that's that I don't even remember what it's about, to be honest. And once I find
yeah.
it, that'll be.
Well, now know that we have, I know that we have a digital postcard
We
waiting
do,
for
we do.
us. And do you have? I know we have transition music now, don't we? Or do we have it
Not
set up
quite
yet?
yet.
Okay. Well, then you
I
got
am
to
working
find
on
some
getting to
transition music
that.
for.
Here we go. I'm working on getting to that, the digital postcard.
If you don't, I got it right here.
Maybe this for now. Oh, not that one, right?
Digital postcards. We've used that one. That's pretty much been the transition music for everything that we've transitioned into.
Yeah, you got 49 episodes to go. Uh,
Right. Exactly.
all right, this
Exactly. Let
one's
me pull.
called Englishman Abroad. It's from Chris, the Gas Man Scoop.
Awesome.
Hey, Big Sexy, here's my Englishman Abroad story. This happened in Florida. Well, that tells us a lot
Hey,
already. I
that's.
don't even need to read the rest. Hey, Big Sexy's in Florida.
I'm in Florida now.
Probably one of the best humans in the state of Florida right now. Uh, this happened in Florida whilst we were on vacation. A group of us had hired a massive villa with a pool. There's some vernacular here. I guess that means rented. We had been
Here's
out
an
for the
Englishman.
day. Yes, yes. I'm not doing the accent. You want to do the accent?
No, I'm not doing the
I don't.
accent.
I don't do an accent. You think we can get Brogan on here to do an English accent? That would be offensive.
That'd be and hilarious and hilarious.
They could take the audio and put it on their podcast. It's like an accent challenge, right?
Exactly.
That what's that podcast that they do?
Hey, buddy, nice podcast.
Thanks,
go.
Penn. I never remember.
Thank you, Penn. Yeah.
I continue with the letter.
Anyway, we got back to the villa, and the kids wanted to go in the pool. They went running out, all excited, and then came running back in, all scared. There's a snake in the pool.
Of course there is.
Welcome to Florida. All 5 adults went to see what the fuss was about. There in the pool was a snake swimming around, enjoying the warm water I paid $500 for. The snake was about 12 inches long, a small snake. My buddy Jay said, "Is this guy from English or Australia?" 12 inches is a pretty damn big snake, if you ask me. I mean, it's not like a python or a boa constrictor, but, an Aussie thinking the 12-inch snake.
It may have been, 12 inches and thin.
Right, yeah. It is the girth that matters. My buddy Jason grabbed a bucket and jumped in. He spent a couple of minutes chasing. He just jumped in. What kind of?
I mean, it's just a small little 12-inch snake.
Yeah, exactly.
And if the snake's in the deep end, if he jumps in the shallow one, I get it. I understand.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have got my ass in that water.
He spent a couple of minutes chasing it around while we all shouted our encouragement. I could just imagine. Exactly. Like a little cheering crew. Eventually, he cornered it, not easy, in a pool with no corners, and got it into his bucket. He walked up the steps, and we all had a look at the snake in the bucket. Jason declared he was going to set it free. That means the snake's just going to come back.
Right.
He went outside the pool net surrounding thing, presumably put up to stop things from getting in the pool. Not worth the pennies they paid for it. No. Emptied the bucket into the grass by his feet, and we all watched Sammy the snake slither off. I thought no more of this. Sammy. Thought no more of this till about 3 weeks after getting home to the UK. My brother had taken a picture of the snake and got his holiday snaps back from processing. Film camera kids, you had to wait and see. Yeah, how long ago is this story? You had to wait and see how crap your pictures were. He took his snaps to his mate to show him his holiday. His mate's brother worked at the reptile house at the local zoo. Oh, this. I know where this is going.
Here we go.
Yep. When they got to the picture of the snake, they went and got a book on snakes to see if they could identify it. Turned out, it was an adolescent copperhead. That's a poisonous snake. We don't really have snakes in the UK, and our logic had been, it's only small. Turns out a bite from a small one is fairly nasty.
Yeah,
Chris the Gas Man scoop. Thanks, Chris. Yes.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, that's the reason why small ones are more deadly is because they don't have control over their venom release. Older snakes can only know exactly how much it takes to subdue or incapacitate their prey, but younger ones don't have that down yet, so they just flood you with whatever venom they bite you. That could have turned out a whole different type of vacation story. So I'm glad that everything worked out okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, where do you find a bucket on a vacation in a vacation home? Like
I don't know about that.
What Airbnb just sitting around with buckets just laying around?
I will tell you that Florida does have some wildlife down there.
I have experienced Florida man.
Have you experienced?
While I've been here, yesterday we ran some errands. Wife went to do a pole class at a place called Ninja Pole Fitness, and on the way, then we went to run some errands. A friend took me to run. I went to a Target to grab some stuff for the boat, and on the way there, we saw a guy cut in front of us, crossing traffic to cut in front of us. And then as I saw this vehicle pass, I saw Florida man. He was a big burly dude, and I'm assuming just swim trunks or maybe boxer shorts on a moped, and just boxer shorts in the middle of the highway. And you know when you see like big, large people on little small bikes,
Yeah.
that, but and big, burly, and hairy, so that it looks like he kind of had clothes on, but it wasn't. It was just the fur on his body. And I saw that as we drove past. I went, okay, there's an episode of Florida Man right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
you can't make
Florida
this shit
Man.
up. You can't.
Have
make this shit
you
up.
been in Florida?
Shout out to Sarah Hester Ross for her Florida Man Fridays.
Couple days you've been in Florida?
I've been in Florida. Yeah, we got into Florida at 3:00 yesterday morning.
Okay. So have you seen a billboard for a pest control company that's focused on iguanas?
No, I haven't seen that yet, but we may see that on the road down to
Down to
Boca
Boca? For
Raton,
sure. You
or
for
down to
sure will.
Miami when we make that drive
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, because that's a thing, and that was a little like off-putting the first time I saw one of those like warning about falling iguanas
I
billboards
love that
or
kind of stuff.
pest
I
control
don't
company.
mind iguanas. I think iguanas are really cool. If my
It
wife,
just it seems to me like just such a bonkers concept to just be walking around and potentially, perhaps, all of a sudden out of the sky an iguana falls on you like boop. Like, hey, buddy.
that can be I can imagine that being a bit terrifying. The thing, of course, I'm walking Fox, and Fox is a little Chihuahua mix with a little dog, and I'm walking him down. And we walked around the block the other day, and it was very nice and lovely. Oh, I've been trying to deal with one of those home improvement companies that used to sponsor my favorite driver, Jimmy Johnson, and just getting a faucet installed in my mother's house. Bought a new faucet, trying to get it installed in the new house. I bought the faucet on April 12th.
Is
April
this the
12th.
blue company or the orange company?
This is the blue company.
Blue company, okay.
And I bought the installation at the blue company. And the problem is, of course, they didn't ask me any follow-up questions. They just assumed that it was going to be where my address was. And my address attached to the blue company is in Vegas. And it has taken us this long. And I still don't have a date and time officially set for them to come and install this at my mother's house. And I'm on a boat in 2 days or in a day and a half. So tomorrow, I'm on a boat tomorrow. And so I'm worried that it's the last nugget. It's the last nugget. The last loose end. It needs to be tied up before I get on this boat. I got my medication taken care of. That was worrisome, but I was able to pick up the last bit of it yesterday, which was a huge sigh of relief. And so once I get this scheduled and all set, then I'll be able to breathe easy. And I'm still able to breathe easy, but deal with that and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But again, shout out to Gasman Scoop. Thanks for that great story. Appreciate it. Appreciate the letters. So yeah, listeners, feel free to write in. Tell us your favorite vacation stories. Tell us some fun stuff. I've met a few people along the way who are hyped to hip them to the podcast. So hopefully they'll start listening and writing in and all that kind of stuff as well. We'll get some stories, because that's one thing I really want to focus on is getting all these cool travel stories so that we have some great digital podcasts. You want to write it in, you can send us an email at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. If you want to tell it to us over and you want to just tell us a story vocally, you can leave us an audio podcast at prankcall.me, or if you go to bigsexynomad.com, that'll take you to the Anchor site where you can leave a message there as well.
That's right. Yeah, and if you've got tips for improving the technical side of the podcast, we're also happy to hear those. We may or may not read them on the air because that's just kind of boring.
But we can still read them. We can hype those up. We can color those.
We'll hype them up. Like I got a a lead from Shuatar about a thing that Adobe has to help clean up audio. They
Oh, good.
use AI, and you could apparently just upload the files. I'm actually trying
And
to
it
do
uses
that.
AI to clean up the audio. That's what we need. We need cleaner audio. Our audio is dirty, dirty.
Yeah,
Now, I hope it doesn't take out
because
all
our
the
minds are
fun.
dirty.
I hope it doesn't take out the fun dirty and just, I hope it doesn't sanitize. Don't sanitize it. Just, make it sound clear. Make the dirty innuendos clear for the listener so there's no surprise. So there's no question as to how dirty we're actually being.
That's right. That's right. Oh gosh, how long was that interview that you did?
50 minutes.
Huh.
Do
Interesting,
you,
because it's
do,
telling me that it's too big and it's got a 1 hour max size, but that's twice the size. Whatever, I'll figure it out.
I've heard that before, that it's too big, but we only got an hour to work with it. I understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll figure it out. Even if I have to cut it into multiple pieces, clean
Right.
each one up, and
Do
then
a part one and
put it
part
back
two,
together.
whatever.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit more work, but if it makes the podcast better, then we'll do it. So I don't know. Maybe that'll clean things up over the next couple of weeks and make it. We're trekking our way toward episode 80,
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
where we
So,
pick.
I tell you what, it's amazing. So today, Um, we got to run the last few errands. We got a little bit more shopping to do. We got to return some lids. I have these two amazing cups, but one of them dropped, so the lid broke. So I need to get the lid replaced. I got to get those lid replaced. I got to run to Harbor Freight Tools, pick up some magnets because we're gonna use magnets to hang up roly things. One of the great tricks. We got some new vacuum bags because we have these jumbo vacuum bags that while they work, they're just too big for what we need. We need to separate things out smaller, piecemeal. So I'm trying to be mentally doing those hurdles. All the while, wife is seeing clients and working. So trying to work around that. The good news is we're getting to a point where time isn't as important. We'll get to Boca Raton when we get to Boca Raton. I love to see my friends Billy and Larissa. I love to see them for as long as possible. But we'll spend tonight and tomorrow hanging out. But right now we gotta get the baggage ship ready. So they're not they're not just ship ready yet. So we're getting the baggage and everything ship ready. We got all the things purchased. We need to get those organized and ship ready. So yeah, we're set up to do all
You are
that today.
about to ship your pants
Yes, indeedy.
and all the rest of your clothes.
And my shorts.
Yep.
Yes,
Ship your
absolutely.
shorts.
Oh, I'll tell you what, last night, where we're staying, our friends Murky and Sharky have this lovely home. And we were chilling, and they have a little pool in the courtyard. The way the house is set up is you come through the front door off the street, and it goes immediately into this little interior pool area.
Mm.
This little courtyard, and they have a little gazebo off to the right, which is where we're staying in this little gazebo. And then you come in through the sliding glass doors, the main house.
Where do
Last
they
night,
keep the snakes?
the snakes are kept in the back, although they're getting a little bit closer because of the hurricane knocked down the fence. So they're having to rebuild the fences. So the snakes are kind of really close. But since the pool is inside and enclosed in the house, it's like having an indoor pool. But they have a roof over it that is like a tarp, not tarp, but it's a sky roof. If you
Yeah, it's to keep the iguanas out. I'm not kidding.
it's a screen. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mr.
Ask him if it's about keeping the iguanas out.
Yeah, the screen is to keep the flying iguanas out of the area and to keep the birds of prey because there are birds of prey out here. We actually saw some cute little owls on our walk, which was hilarious. There's a sign, and I'll post this up on the social medias. There's a sign about the owls that has an owl on a live owl on the sign. I'm they're advertising. They know what the sign says. So adorable. Um, but yeah, so
Send us owl stories. Send us iguana stories. We want to hear them.
we relaxed in that pool. It was lovely. It was warm. Then the breeze kind of kicked in, so the air was cold, but the water was warm. So how you don't ever want to get out of the water in that case. We had a wonderful, relaxed time. Slept, got to sleep in a little bit today. And it's funny because I am experiencing some of that time difference. But it's cool because you and
Yeah.
I are now in the same time zone.
for another day.
which I don't, which means I don't have to. Which my brain was like, okay, so if he's doing that, if he's going to lunch around
No math. No
1,
math. Just
I'm
do.
just the math. It's whatever he's doing. That's the same time I'm doing. Great. So I'm loving that. Although,
Ooh, I'm going to get in the pool next week.
Yeah.
I'm just now looking at the Vegas weather for next week, and it seems to be getting back to normal.
Well, I saw Vegas was really good when we were there. Again, if we had time, we would have done some stuff, but we lost the whole day. It's amazing how just a 3-hour shift.
It's that butterfly effect, man.
It really is, and it just grew and grew and grew until we lost it. I blame that for missing the flight. Everything's just compounded and compounded. So
it's okay. Missing a flight, not always the end of the world. It happened to me.
Oh,
it
no.
worked out. We talked about it.
This is the first time either my wife or myself had missed the flight, so we were surprised at how easy it was because we were prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
This is about how much it's going to cost. It's going to
all this other shit. Yeah.
And there was no extra cost. It worked out just fine. So yeah, we're set up and we're good to go. We're ready to get ready. Almost out of here. The digital nomad, and here's the beautiful thing. I keep saying, we're about to be digital nomads. No. We are right now.
You're homeless.
Our title is digital nomad. So we're houseless. We're not homeless.
Very, very good point.
Because everywhere we lay our head is home. I am home right now in my friend Ricky and Sharky's house. This is home.
Very good point.
When I get to Billy and Larissa's, that'll be home. My home will be the Virgin Voyages transatlantic cruise ship, the Valiant Lady, for 15 days, starting tomorrow evening. So, starting tomorrow evening. Do you remember back when we started this? It was like hundreds of days.
Oh, it wasn't. It was you. I don't even know. So when we first started the podcast, you had identified the cruise,
right?
And I don't think you booked it.
You hadn't booked it yet.
Like there were a few episodes where by the time we aired an episode, I think you had booked it, but not when we recorded those first 3 or 4. You weren't there yet. So that's this is covering the whole journey. It's pretty exciting.
Here we are leaving tomorrow. Yeah, it's been fun talking about the podcast, like especially with Uber drivers and Lyft drivers. They, it's what do you do? Because again, my name on Lyft is James Big Sexy. Barry White. And so, of course, that sparks conversation. Oh, are you big sexy? Yeah, What is it? What do you do? I'm an entertainer. I'm a podcaster, which is now the first thing I throw out there. What do you do? I'm a podcaster because that's what I am. Although it hasn't paid anything yet, but, hopefully down the line. But what do? I'm an entertainer. I'm a podcaster. I'm an actor. I'm a playwright, right? What's your podcast? And of course, I have swag to give. So I give them the stickers or swag or Magnus say, yeah, check out the podcast, especially to the Lyft driver because they're doing up and driving all day long.
Yeah,
so listen to podcasts. Right? Met somebody who was interested in doing a podcast. Shout out to Caitlin if you're listening. They were interested in doing a podcast, so I was able to talk about how we set this up and explain, like, no, all we got is a computer and a microphone and a program to tell us what we need to do.
That's right.
And that's how we started this whole thing. I started this whole thing not knowing how to do a podcast because the only podcast I had been on before was ICS, and they had a whole full studio and audio guy and this whole thing set up. And I'm like, we don't have any of that. And then researching, I said, oh, no, all I need is this program, this computer, and a good microphone. Heck, I think I really need a cell phone if you find the right thing. So here we are.
All right, kids, let's rock and roll. Let's get on the road here, huh?
Yes, indeedy.
So before we let them go, you're going to be on the road, but your socials aren't changing. How do they find you out there in the world?
Yeah, so hit us up. So here's the thing. Don't worry about the Facebook anymore. I'm tired to talk about the Facebook. Follow Instagram at whoisbigsexy, at bigsexynomad. One of those, both of those. Follow both of those. Go on to Instagram, follow Big Sexy Nomad, and follow Who Is Big Sexy. If you want to see me and my wife's, I haven't really talked about this much except for when she was on. And you should go check out that episode. It's a really good episode. We were in New York hotel, and we recorded with the wife as a guest right before we saw Mad Apple.
What a good show. You should see Matt Apple too.
Yeah, absolutely. Get to Vegas, see Matt Apple. Shout out to Harrison Greenbaum, who's also been a guest on the show. At colorful_humans_global. Colorful humans global.
7, by the way. Episode 7.
Episode 7. Oh, thanks for looking that up. So yeah, at Colorful Humans Global, that's me and my wife's Instagram account where we when we meet interesting people, we try to take a picture, tell their story, and post that kind of stuff up there as well. So those are the places at Who's Big Sexy, at Big Sexy Nomad, and at colorful_humans_global. What about you, Judge?
Real simple. Psychic-ish. Psychic-ish on all the things. You could probably even type in Judge Mentalist and it'll probably end up popping up there. But episode 7, damn.
Yeah, this is episode 31.
Yeah.
Episode 30 dropped 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah. Or last week, depending on when you're listening.
So we're 30 something.
That's right.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, sir, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'm going to start making my way out to the city and get stuff done, and then come back, pack up, and then head out to Boca Raton, Florida. See a cruise having Billy and Larissa.
I'm going to say it twice, and this time I'm going to say it first. Safe travels.
Safe travels. Safe travels.